Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon, except to those people who have not started deploying IPv6 in 2018. I see you. Yeah, don't tell me good afternoon, start deploying IPv6. Then the afternoon can be good forever. My name is Mukom. I'm the head of capacity building, and I work with Bryce, Stephen, and 3 other colleagues who are not here. We do 3 key things. Our roots come from our training program. We've got this extensive program that has enabled us. We've trained probably more than 7,000 engineers from pretty much every single country of this continent. I think there are only about 3 or 4 countries that we haven't been to deliver training. So when it comes to training, some of you must have realized that the number of face-to-face trainings that we do was reduced this year. The reason is because we are in the midst of a transition in our strategy, how we approach capacity building for all the technologies that underpin how AFRINIC works. The reason is we're putting a bit more emphasis on our deployment support programs, and also we are trying to build our e-learning capability. For those of you who have been around for a while, when I joined AFRINIC in 2009, the first thing I did was created a strategic plan for training, for the training program. And even then, we had identified that at some point, face-to-face trainings weren't going to be scalable, because there's just so much that even 4 trainers can do, traveling from one country to another. And so, despite our best efforts, I think the country in which we've trained the largest number of people is Nigeria, about less than 300. And we're seeing that in real terms now, because recently I'm getting calls from certain countries. Oh, Mukom, I want you to come and do training because we want to deploy IPv6. But I said, I know you. I've done it. I did a training in your country 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They say, oh, but those people, they've now left. They didn't deploy then. They've now been promoted and they've gone. So I need to do the training all over again. And so we just can't go into this cycle, this vicious cycle of, travel, do training for 4 days, come back, and then. And so even back in the strategic plan then, the solution to this was always going to be e-learning. And that's something that we're working on a lot. And one of our values is operational excellence. We're always committed that whenever we do something, we want you to step and say, oh, this is really excellent. And so the e-learning that we're trying to create is not the traditional thing that you see everywhere, a talking video of someone speaking. We want learning that engages you every single second as you sit in front of your computer. So we are sure that when it comes out, the community is going to like it. So that's something we're working on it. But now, when we do this e-learning, it's going to enable us to do 2 things. Number 1, scale. We can reach a lot more people than we can do with normal face-to-face trainings. Secondly, face-to-face trainings are still important. It will now enable us to elevate the standard of face-to-face training. So today, because of the prerequisites, if you go to a country for 4 days, we typically start from some kind of foundations, and by the 4th day, we'll get to, say, level 7. But with e-learning, we can make people do level 1 to level 7 online, and then when we get on site, we do more advanced things. Still on the training part, we've got our 36 program. I mean, there are only 12 organizations in the world that have IPv6 certified certification. AFRINIC is was the 12th one. And so we are adding a new milestone this year, and Stephen is going to talk to you about it. That's the 36 program. And the other thing we do has its roots in our fellowship program, because building the community is key. I mean, one of AFRINIC's values is what? We are community-driven. And part of building part of an active, vibrant community is fellows, people you bring to the meeting for the first time, hoping that they get to become part of the community in the future. And Bryce, who's sitting right there, leads that program, and he's been doing an excellent job. So this year, there were 700 applications, more than 700 applications for fellows. And I want you to imagine what it means to go through 700 applications to select 13. So thanks to him and the screening committee that's within AFRINIC. And you'll see some of the fellows here, and I mean, I was, yeah, they're waving at us. I happen to have, been sitting in one of their sessions, and just to listen to people from different countries meeting for the first time and start sharing these ideas, that's the kind of human network that just warms my heart. That's real community. And so one of the other things that the last thing that we've put in lots and lots of attention is our IPv6 program. We had an IPv6 program a couple of years ago. It went fallow when our IPv6 manager resigned. But so we've started it like 1 year ago. We've been trying to reboot it. And so there are three main things that we've been doing this year. The first one is, to give a bit of a context, if we go back to, we've done lots and lots of trainings. It's just not in AFRINIC, in RIPE NCC, in ARIN, I'm sure Jordi will tell you, sometimes the return on investment for training is, gee, but I've trained so many people, why are they not doing? I can count in my career as a trainer for AFRINIC over the 7+ years, I've received like, 5 emails from people who have come at the end of a training and say, hey, I deployed IPv6. So, within the team, we have this practice that everything we do should be rooted in what a customer wants, rather than us sitting in our ivory tower and saying, this is what we should do. So we sent out a survey, and where we asked people, what's your biggest challenge? If you don't have training, why have you not deployed IPv6? And 2 things came out. Number 1, most of the engineers said, my managers don't understand and they won't let me. And the second one said, we just don't have the confidence to do it by ourselves. Oh, so our solution, which is what we are currently prototyping and trialing, is number 1, a help desk. We have a web form, which we'll share. Anybody who wants to deploy IPv6 can go to that link, submit a request, and then, someone on the team will get back to them, and we try and, put together a program for how they can go step by step. We'll help them deploy IPv6. We don't configure your devices. We are there to provide guidance, and hopefully you build confidence to continue doing it yourself. That's a help desk. So our help desk, we've had 43 requests since we started, and there's 7 active ones. And one of the things that this help desk is teaching us is that we are getting tremendous levels of insight into the real deployment challenges that people face. I mean, one of the things you hear so often that managers say from big organizations, customers are not asking it. That is just not true. Or to put it less diplomatically, it is a lie, right? Because we know from Nigeria to Ghana, lots and lots of customers who are saying, I need IPv6. And we've gotten them to write to their upstream providers officially. Hopefully, as we start getting a lot more people to put pressure this way, some of the things will start changing. Now, the other problem about training for managers, say our managers just don't get it. That's why we've rebooted our training, IPv6 strategy and planning for managers. This is supposed to help managers think strategically about how to make sure that their staff have the resources for IPv6. How do you make sure it fits into the strategic plans or the business models of organizations? So we do things like business modeling, how it fits into strategic plans, and how you can make sure that, budgets come into place. Okay. And in the line of, helping people who say they don't have confidence, we're trialing something we call a deployathon. Yeah, you heard it here at AFRINIC, right? It's simply a hackathon for IPv6 deployment. The idea is, it is not training, we don't teach. You come with previous training and you say, I want to deploy IPv6. And we sit with you, hopefully by the end of the day, you leave having gone closer to IPv6 deployment. So we've done, this is this session that we're doing here is our 4th deployathon. And I'll just give you our last one, our 3rd iteration, that was in Nigeria. So within 2 days, we had, lots about, I think there were 7 organizations that participated. At the end of it, we had AS 37345, that's Medallion Communications. They came in without a V6 prefix. At the end of the session, they had an announced prefix and a Route 6 object. Same thing with AS 328376, that's Alpha O and O, came in with only a prefix. By the end, they had securely announced the prefix and they had a Route 6 object. A third one was AS37308, that's Coolink, came in with an announced prefix, and by the end of the deployathon, they had announced the prefix, created the Route 6 objects. Two of these even went further. By the end of the deployathon, they had IPv6 running on the test VLAN. That is a higher return on investment than we've had in normal trainings for 7 years. And so we're hoping to be able to, to develop the concept of deployathon so that next year it becomes part of our normal. So we go to a country with pre-training and do just deployments. So, so essentially that's it. We do training, we're working in e-learning, so next year we'll be launching e-learning, and we'll be able to do, even offer our platform of high quality, specifically crafted content to universities as well, in a project we call Universities Connect. For IPv6 program, one of the things we also started this year was we're looking for 5 governments, because if there's something, almost every government has an IPv6 strategic plan. That's been on a website for 7 years, and nothing has happened. By the way, the website does not even have IPv6. And the strategic plan is really predictable. We, the government, you guys go and deploy IPv6. You guys go and deploy IPv6. Meanwhile, we don't even have an IPv6 prefix. So the problem isn't the lack of a plan. The problem is, how do you take that plan and translate it into results? So we have a specific program. We are limiting it only to 5 governments in 2019. Right? We'll select governments and work with them through hackathons, trainings, following up, and make sure that that plan stops being a digital document that is just staying on some website, and you can see real deployments. So we sent out, the CEO sent out a couple of letters to some governments, and responses have been coming in. When we get back, we'll screen them and then select the 5, and then the remaining ones we'll see. Depending upon our capacity, we can take more, but we want to start with 5 for 2019. Well, that's it from our side. I'll say thank you and have a wonderful day. Thank you, have a wonderful day, except who? Except those who are not deploying except those managers who are stopping their engineers from deploying IPv6. Thank you very much.